the content of the literary pieces, and this shall not be a competition, but only an event that is meant to be enjoyed. I think we can begin now, Parth sir.
Yes, of course, we shall.
Right. All right.
Uh,
So,
this is a recitation event, but of course, all the reciters will be getting an e-certificate. Let's clarify that.
right. Everyone who is participating, all the reciters will be receiving an e-certificate as a proof of participation and of being here and among us. We will begin with the faculty speakers and research scholars first. And so, as the list that was shared with the participants, I'd like to call upon Mr. Iman Al Masri. Is he present here? Mr. Iman, if you are present, you can unmute yourself.
I think he's not there. We can go on to the next speaker.
Right. The next speaker. The next speaker is Dr. Imran Surti. I believe he is present.
Yes, sir.
Ayush,
Right.
please
Well,
introduce where is he currently associated with,
yes.
which institution?
Welcome, welcome, Imran sir. He currently works with the Model Educational Trust in Surat, Gujarat. We are proud to have you, sir. And now I'll
Thank
be
you very much.
passing on the stage to you.
Thank you very much, Ayush. Glad to be a part of this event. Have been looking forward to it for some time. So just to let you know, I have an academic experience of more than 20 years, worked with different institutions of South Gujarat, have been a teacher and faculty of English literature and language for quite some time. And the reason behind selecting this piece, I have threefold reasons for the same. Number one, during my college days, I in fact enacted uh, the the character of Shylock during the trial scene. So that was one reason why I have chosen this particular piece. Uh, Number two, in fact, I even delivered this speech as a part of solo mono acting. So that was also another reason. And rarely I get such a chance to be a part of some literary event, because being a teacher of communication skills, we are all the time occupied with teaching language most of the times. So this is quite interesting to be a part of this particular event. And the third but not very interesting point is that my birthday also falls tomorrow. uh, so I have been a great admirer of Shakespeare right from my college days. And since I've been teaching English literature to the students for some time, I decided to take up this. As far as the context of this particular speech is concerned, Shylock's speech actually reveals a very deep-seated hatred and desire for revenge on Antonio. So this speech is taken from Act 3, Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice, and it is basically hatred, which is fueled by what he perceives as Antonio's cruel and disrespectful treatment of him as a Jewish person. So this speech actually exposes Shylock's transformation from a moneylender to a vengeful figure. And I would also say this: it is a very pivotal moment in the play. It not only reveals Shylock's character, but also explore themes like prejudice, revenge, and the complexities of human relationships within a power imbalance. So I think this much context would be enough to begin the recitation. I believe so. So let me begin with the recitation of the selected piece. To bait fish withal, if it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. He hath disgraced me, and hindered me 500,000, laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, scorned my nation, thwarted my bargains, cooled my friends, heated mine enemies. And what is his reason? I am a Jew. Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions? Fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer as a Christian is. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? If we are like you in the rest, we will resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what is his humility? Revenge. If a Christian wrong a Jew, what should his sufferance be by Christian example? Why revenge? The villainy you teach me, I will execute. And it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. That was indeed a recitation that did justice to what Shakespeare might have had in mind, or our character Shylock was going through when he had to, when he came up, when he spoke this to the audiences and to the listeners, to the receivers in the play itself. So, with that, uh, with such a beginning, we hope to just keep getting better and better, and listen to the further recitations that we have at hand this evening. Next, I will be inviting Mr. Santosh Kumar. Is he present in the meeting? Do we have a Mr. Santosh Kumar in the meeting? Fine. I think we can call upon the next speaker, sir. Part, sir.
Yes, yes, of course.
Our next speaker is Dr. Sheetal Thakur. Hello, hello, ma'am. Welcome,
Hello.
Sheetal, ma'am. She currently works. She is a faculty member at the Shri M.N. Company
Combined.
Arts and Company Arts and A.K. Shah Commerce College that is located in Mangrol, Gujarat. We are glad to have you here, ma'am, and we are
Thank,
really looking forward to what you have to offer.
thank you. First of all, a very happy birth anniversary of the great Bard of Avon. It is actually 461st birth anniversary of William Shakespeare. So, wish you all a very happy birth anniversary of Mr. William Shakespeare. Today, I am going to present sonnet number 73. This particular sonnet is a kind of uh, related to death, aging, and love. Especially when a person, it was actually written at the age of 37, when Shakespeare became of 37 years old. And it is a kind of dilemma, confusion related to aging. And between this time span of aging and death, the speaker is trying his best to hang to life, and he feels that this time between aging and old age is too short to love. So if time permits, person should uh, strive hard to love, because death is certain and inevitable for all of us. this is how the sonnet goes. Sonnet number 73. That time of the year, mayest in me behold, when yellow leaves, all none, or few, do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold. Bare, ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. In me thou seest the twilight of such day as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away death's second self that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire, consumed with that which it was nourished by. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong. To love that well which thou must leave ere long. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was indeed a powerful performance.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Next, I would like to call upon Ratnadeep Makwana. Do we have a Ratnadeep Makwana here? I think we can move on to the next person. Dr. Jaswant Rathod. Saurabh Chauhan.
Yes, I am here.
Welcome, sir. Let me introduce Mr. Saurabh Chauhan to you. He is a faculty in the Department of Humanities at Atmiya University in Rajkot, Gujarat. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. First of all, a very good afternoon to everyone present over here. And again, as ma'am rightly said, a very happy birthday to the Bard. And I am very much in love with the initiative that we have taken up about this very fair occasion to begin with. So the poem which I have taken for my recitation is a one which is very close to my heart, and I remember Parth sir telling me this when we had cleared our bachelors and we were moving ahead towards our masters. The first line of this sonnet number 1. So yes, I begin this sonnet with that memory. uh, from fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die, but as the riper should by time decease, his tender hair might bear his memory. But thou, content to thy own bright eyes, feeds thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies. Thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel. Thou that art now the world's fresh ornament, and only herald to the gaudy spring. Within thy own bud buryest thy content, and tender churl makes waste in niggarding. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due by grave and thee. Thank you. And once again, happy birthday to the Bard from my humble self and everyone else. So, thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Saurabh. Saurabh happens to be an acquaintance of mine, and the memory that fueled him to to recite the first sonnet by Shakespeare. I was a part of that memory. So we had our bachelors together, and Parth sir, um, he uh, when he addressed the first line from the fairest creatures. So it was directed to us, and sir, we hope that we are and we keep on proving you right. All right.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you, Saurabh, Mr. Saurabh sir, for your recitation. And now I would like to call upon the next speaker, the next participant. Do we have an Urmila Parmar in the meeting with us? Do we have an Urmila Parmar in the meeting with us? All right. So I think we can move on. Do we have a Jeel Somaya?
Yes, I am here.
Right. Let me just quickly introduce Jeel to us. Jeel is a research scholar. She is currently she is currently pursuing her research from the Department of English, Saurashtra University, located in Rajkot, Gujarat. I hand over the mic to you, Jeel.
Thank you. So, good evening, esteemed professors, fellow participants, and dear attendees. So, before I begin, I would just like to directly recite my dialogue, and I request everyone to guess which character I'm gonna perform. Okay. So, oh, wonder how many goodly creatures are there here, how beautiful mankind is. Oh, brave new world that has such people in it. So, can anybody tell me which character is this?
Miranda,
Yes, ma'am.
Miranda
So,
Tempest.
yes, yes. So, as you might have guessed by now, that I'll be playing Miranda, one of the last plays of Sir William Shakespeare. We talk a lot about other Shakespearean heroines like Beatrice, Lady Macbeth, and Portia, but I feel that Miranda is often ignored or has received less attention. So I have selected two excerpts from Tempest, which reveals Miranda's different shades of personality. It's true that Miranda is not as fierce and witty or bold like other Shakespearean heroines, but her innocence and her purity wins our heart. So I have chosen two excerpts, and the first passage is about the storm. Miranda is witnessing the terrifying tempest, and which is created by her magician father Prospero, and she pleads her father to stop the storm. And this passage will reveal her compassion and her gentle heart. Okay, so here I begin the first passage. If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down the stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin streak, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel, who had no doubt some noble creatures in her, dashed all into pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they all perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, or earlier it should have the good ship, so her swallowed and the frightening souls within her. So, in this passage, I would say uh, that we can witnesses the Viranta's kind heart. The second passage is about her first encounter with Ferdinand, in which she admits that she has never seen any man or woman in her life, because having grown up on an isolated island, she has never seen anyone. So she expresses her love for Ferdinand, that if by your art, my dearest, she expresses that I do not know one of my sex, no woman's face I remember, save from my class mine own, nor have I seen more that I may call man than you, good friend, and my dear father. How features are abroad, I am skilless of, but by my modesty, the jewel in my door, I would not wish any other companion than you. You may deny me, but I'll be your servant, whether you will or no. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jill. I remember we studied Tempest back in our, I mean, I'm still in my bachelor's, but we studied this last year. And I could feel, I mean, you took me back to when we were playing these characters. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to call upon Arunima Singh. Do we have Arunima Singh here?
Hello,
Hello,
am I
Arunima.
audible to you?
Welcome.
Hi.
Yes. So let me introduce Arunima Singh. She is a research scholar from the Department of English in Tilka Mansti Bhagalpur University in Bihar. Over to you, Arunima.
Thank you so much. Happy birth anniversary to Shakespeare and a very good afternoon to one and all present here. Uh, the thing is, I think had not the bard with us, the English literature would have been bereft of the most precious gem. And to talk of Hamlet, as my recitation is on Hamlet's nunnery scene, uh, so to talk of Hamlet is to talk of the longest drama curated by him. And the thing is to emphasize on the nunnery scene, which occurs in Act 3, Scene 1, just after the most famous soliloquy, that is to be or not to be. So after his substantial soliloquy, uh, and which is full of dilemma, Hamlet confronts Ophelia when she came to return all the gifts to him uh, with a series of contradictory and harsh statements, leading to the line that is, "Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offences at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between earth and heaven? We are arrant knaves all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father? So I completed that recitation done by Hamlet and which offended Ophelia. And further, the rest is known to everyone. The tragedy happens to the protagonist and all. So that's all.
Yes, thank you, Arunima.
Thank you so much. It will be
Further,
pleasure.
right. Next, I'd like to call upon Rutvi Shah, who happens to be a member of the working committee of the literary club and also a research scholar currently pursuing her research at the Department of English, Saurashtra University, in once again in Rajkot, Gujarat. Rutvi, over to you.
Thank you so much. Firstly, thanks to both the compeers of the evening, Shreya Ghore and Ayush Trivedi, rigorous, active working members of our committee. Um, so today I'm going to take up one of Shakespeare's most, as considered, most evil villains, antagonists, that is Iago from Othello. I'm going to recite two of the soliloquies by Iago, beginning with his first soliloquy in Act 2, Scene 1, wherein he has already seen Desdemona behaving with such warmth to Cassius. So he has a suspicion, and he is also jealous. He also has another suspicion that Othello and his wife may be together. And then this particular soliloquy exposes us to this manipulative, classic manipulative thought that he builds. So here I go. That Cassio loves her, I do well believe it. That she loves him, 'tis apt and of great credit. The more, howbeit that I endure him not, is of a constant, loving, noble nature. And I dare think he'll prove to Desdemona a most dear husband. Now I do love her too, not out of absolute lust, though peradventure I stand accounted for as great a sin, but partly led to diet my revenge, for that I do suspect the lusty Moor hath leaped into my seat, the thought whereof doth like a poisonous mineral gnaw my inwards, and nothing can or shall content my soul till I am evened with him, wife for wife, or failing so, yet that I put the Moor at least into a jealousy so secure. Which thing to do if this poor trash of Venice, whom I trash for his quick hunting, stand the putting on? I'll have our Michael Cassio on the hip, abuse him to the Moor in the rank grab, for I fear Cassio with my nightcap too. Make the Moor thank me, love me, reward me for making him egregiously an ass, and practicing upon his peace and quiet even to madness. 'Tis here, but yet confused. Knavery's plain face is never seen in used. So this was the first part of the soliloquy. The second extract is Iago's soliloquy from Act 2, Scene 3. The same act, just another scene, wherein he questions this accusation upon him, the accusation that he is the villain, and he naturally accuses it. How is he supposed to be thought of as a villain? He also knows of her nature. And so here we will see the same. And what's he then that says I play the villain? When this advice is free, I give and honest, probable to thinking, and indeed the course to win the Moor again. For it is most easy the inclining Desdemona to subdue in any honest suit. She is framed as fruitful as the free elements. And then for her to win the Moor, were it to renounce his baptism, all seals and symbols of redeemed sin. His soul is so unfettered to love her that she may make, unmake, do what she list, even as her appetite shall play the god with weak function. How am I then a villain to counsel Cassio to his parallel course, directly to his good? Divinity of hell! When devils will the blackest sins put on, they do suggest at first with heavenly shows, as I do now. For whiles his honest fools piles Desdemona to repair his fortunes, and she for him bleeds strongly to the Moor, I'll pour this pestilence into his ear, that she repeals him for her body's lust, and by how much she strives to do him good, she shall undo her credit with the Moor. So will I turn her virtue into pitch, and out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Prithvi. That was just spectacular. I felt like I was actually watching the performance live. I would like to ask if there are any faculty speakers who joined us late, would like to speak now.
So, from the ones who have already registered, do we have anybody whose name? So, Shreya, can you just speak out the names once again of the
Okay.
registered faculty members and research scholars who were
So
absent
we
when you
have
spoke their names?
Iman Al-Masri, Dr. Imran Surti, VVS Santosh Kumar, Dr. Sheetal Thakore, Ratnadeep
I think Dr.
Makwana.
Iman was not there when his name was spoken. Has he joined? No. Dr. V.V. Santosh Kumar, has he joined? No. Okay. Next
Uh, Ratnadeep Makwana.
is Dr.
Next
Ratnadeep
we
here? No.
Dr. Jaswant Rathod.
I think he too is not there.
Then Parmar Urmila Bajal Bhai.
Dr. Urmila Parmar. Absent. Okay, so that allows us to have 3 to 4 slots at the end for our attendees who have not registered but would want to recite something. So, as it was written in the chat box, if you wish to recite something at the end, kindly just mention your name and your institutional affiliation in the chat box so that we can come to know how many people we have in the meeting willing to recite something or the other. I think we can now go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Parth sir. Thank you all the faculty speakers and research scholars who recited today. Now we would be giving the stage to the UG and PG students across the nation. The first speaker we have today is from my own university. It is Arshia Jain from MIT ADT University. Arshia, are you here?
Yes.
Hello, Arshia.
The
Welcome.
earth, yeah, thank you. So the earth didn't birth a man, it conjured the storms of syllables and named it Shakespeare. To be or not to be, that is the question. But for the bard, he was to write, to feel, and to endure. And now, on his day of birth, I become the voice of his everlasting summer. On this very day, special day, auspicious day, when the Bard of Evan was born, I, Arshia, a 20-year-old student from MIT University, Pune, offer my humble tribute. So, a poetess by soul, I strive to revive the last echo of metaphysical sonnets, and I'm greatly inspired by John Donne, who is considered the father of metaphysical sonnets, and William Shakespeare, obviously. So, I'm a bard-relator. Today, in celebration of Shakespeare's birth and legacy, I recite one of his most cherished sonnets, a poem that does not merely describe beauty but dares to immortalize it. He confronts the inevitability of time and decay only to, conquer them through immortality granted by words. So let's start. Sonnet 18, Shall I compare thee to summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling birds of May, and summer's lease hath too short for a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often in his cold complexion dimmed, and every fair declines, by chance on nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou oust, nor shed death bread wonders in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growst. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this gives life to thee. Through this sonnet, Shakespeare gifted eternity to fleeting moments and beauty. And as long as we speak his words, we keep alive not only his legacy, but poetry, but passion and soul of the bard himself. Before him, he spoke, after him, it rhymed. Such was his power. Such was his power to bind fleeting youth within the chain of rhyme. And so on this day, thy birth, sweet bard, I thank thee for giving our hearts language and our sorrows a song. Long live Shakespeare, long live the words I bore.
Yes. Thank you very much, Harshia. That was a recitation which I felt personally a very jolly recitation, and one could not tell apart that what's the poem part, and what she is speaking by herself, because throughout her speech, throughout while she was on screen, she was expressive enough and quite consistently at that. So yes, thank you, Arshia. With that, I'd like to call upon our next participant, who is again a very active member of the literary club and also hails from the MIT Edit University, and that's Sanjana Murli. Is she here?
Hello, yes.
Right. Over to you, Sanjana.
Good evening, everybody. And first of all, happy birthday to our beloved bard. I am going to be reciting the sonnet number 71 of the sonnet cycles of the Fair Young Man. And this sonnet is quite melancholic in nature to contrast Arshia's very jovial performance. And I would like to leave you with the thought that a lot of scholars and readers have very mixed opinions on what the true intentions of the speaker is, if it's truly selfless or if he's asking his beloved to wait. So let me begin. No longer mourn for me when I am dead. Then you shall hear the surly sullen bell give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world with vilest worms to dwell. Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that writ it, for I love you so that I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot, if thinking on me then should make you woe. Oh, if I say you look upon this verse, when I, perhaps compounded am with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love, even with my life decay, lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanjana. Contrast to your sonnet, I think you seem in quite a celebratory mood with the happy birthday banner behind you. Uh, okay. Next we have Iram Baloch. Do we have Iram Baloch here?
Yes.
Welcome, Iram. So she is a PG student from the Department of English in Saurashtra University, Rajkot, Gujarat. Over to you, Iram.
So the play that I've taken here is King Lear, and as we have known, if we have heard the experts, it is top 5 tragedies that people express that one should read. But if I have to just give the introduction of the play, I'll just give it in one line about what Charles Lamb has said about it. Lamb has said that the Lear of Shakespeare, he concluded, cannot be acted because it is essentially impossible to be represented on the stage, on which expert elaborated that it is only in the faculty of the minds or the imagination that Lear can be adopted or think or enjoyed fully. So the sublimity comes first in the mind, and the stage could never do its justice. So now the part that I've chosen here is Lear's banishment. That is how Lear, who supposedly is disheartened that Cordelia did not utter or express the affections which are to be felt, but the other two daughters did, and he banished Cordelia from his kingdom. Now this catapultates it, and the fall of his own coming down as a king starts, how he goes into madness. So now, because the decisions that he has taken, and Cornelia is the first one to banish him from her house, the eldest daughter. And the other part that I've taken is the discussion between Lear and Fool at the end of scene 1, act 5, which is very important because the Fool is very witty, but he has good advices to give and good quotations, which are not often quoted. So here we go. Now that he's feeling betrayed by Cornelia, let us see what he has to say. Lear. He leaves. And it is also important that because it describes the relationship between father and a daughter, because this is not something a father would ever say to his daughter, but this is what he he feels after being betrayed by someone of his own blood in comparison to the materialistic things they wanted from him. So Lear, he kneels. Hear nature here, dear goddesses here. Suspend thy purpose is if thou dost intend to make this creature fruitful into a womb convey sterility. Dry up in her organs of increase, and from her delicate body never spring a bay to honor her. If she must steam, create her a child of spleen, that it may live and be a throat this nature torment to her. And let it swarm wrinkles in a brow of youth, with gathered tears, fret channels in her cheeks, turn all the mother's pain and benefits to laughter and contempt, that she may feel how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. Away, away. Exit Albany. Now, gods, that we adore, whereof comes this? Goneril, never afflict yourself to know more of it, but let his disposition have scope, as dotage gives it. Enter Lear. What? 50 of my follows at Clap within a fortnight? Albany, what's the matter, sir? Dear Lear, I'll tell thee, to Goneril, life and death. I am ashamed that dost has power to shake my manhood thus, that these hot tears which break from me perforce should make thee worth them. Blasts and fogs upon thee, the unintended woundings of a father's curse. Pierce every sense about thee, old fond eyes. Beweep this cause, I'll pluck ye out and cast you with the waters that you lose to temper clay. Yea, it's come to this. Let it be so. I have another daughter, who I am sure is kind and comfortable. When she shall hear of this of thee with her nails, she shall flay thy wolfish visage. Thou shalt find that I'll resume the shape that which thou dost think I have cast off forever. And by this he prepares his leave, and this is when the fool, Lear, and Kent have their dialogue. Enter Lear, Kent, Knight, and the fool. Lear to Kent. Go before to Gloucester with these letters. Acquaint my daughter no further with anything. You know that comes from her demand out of the letter. If your diligence be not speedy, I shall be afore you. Kent. I will not sleep, my lord, till I have delivered your letter. Exit. Fool. If a man's brain were in heels, were it not in danger of gibes? Lear. Aye, boy. Fool, then I prize be merry. Thy wit shall not go slipshod. Lear. Ha. Fool, shall see thy other daughter will use thee kindly, for thou, she is as like this as crab like an apple. Yet I can tell what I can tell. Lear. What canst tell, boy? Fool, she will taste as like this as a crab does to a crab. Thou canst tell why one's nose stand between the middles of one face? Lear. No. Fool, why? To keep one's eyes on the either side of the nose, that what a man cannot spell, he may spy into. Lear. I did her wrong. Fool, canst tell how an oyster makes a shell? Lear. No. Fool, nor I, but I can tell why a snail has a house. Lear. Why? Why to put heads in, not to give it away to his daughters and leave his horns without a case. Lear. I will forget my nature. So kind of father. Be my horses ready. Fool, thy asses are gone about him. The reason why the 7 stars are no more than 7 is a pretty good reason. Lear, because they are not 8? Fool, yes indeed. Thou'dst make a good fool. Lear, to take again perforce monster ingratitude. Fool, if thou wert my fool uncle, I'd have thee beaten for being old before thy time. Lear, how's that? Fool, thou shouldst not have been old till thou hadst been wise. Lear, oh, let me not be mad, not mad, sweet heaven. Keep me in temper, I would not be mad. How now? Are my horses ready? Knight, ready, my lord. Exit all except the fool. Fool, see, she that's a maid now and laughs at my departure shall not be a maid longer, unless this things be cut short. This will be my time, but I was surfing and I suddenly came upon two lines of poetry by Alexander Pope. Now that we're discussing Shakespeare's poetry, that poets themselves must fall like those they sung, deaf the praised ear and mute the tuneful tongue. Although Shakespeare is not between us, we do sing his praise and do the tuneful things that he has written. Thank you.
Yes, Iram, thank you. Having known Iram from my master's days, I can, without hesitating, claim that she has been a prolific speaker, having performed well and advanced to the upper echelons of debate competitions or uh, Times of India competitions. So I expected nothing less of you, Iram, and thank you for doing justice to the piece that you chose. With that, I would like to call upon our next speaker, Shehzad Chokia. Do we have a Shehzad Chokia with us?
Yes, yes.
Right. Just let me introduce our audience to you and then I'll give you the mic. Mr. Shehzad is a UG student from Maharaja Krishna Kumar Singh Ji Bhavnagar University from Bhavnagar. Yes, over to you, Shehzad.
Okay, thank you, Ayush. Uh, Good evening to all. Imagine being so cherished, so deeply admired that someone writes about you in a way that time itself can't erase. That's exactly what Shakespeare did. In just 14 lines, he didn't simply describe beauty, he captured it, preserved it, and made it eternal. What you are about to hear isn't just a love poem, it's a legacy. This is Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling birds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a day. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But the eternal summers shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou erst, nor shall death brook thou wanderest in his shade. When in eternal lines to time thou drawest, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sajad. I think you and our previous speaker, Arshia Zain, gave two different auras of the same sonnet, which was an interesting take. Uh, Next, we would like to call upon Nimisha Pandey. Are you here?
Yes.
Hello, Nimisha. Welcome. So, Nimisha Pandey is a UG student from Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Central University from Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. Over to you, Nimisha.
A very warm and a vivacious evening to respected professors and fellow participants. This is Nimisha Pandey pursuing English honors from Dr. H.S. Gaur Central University, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. Now, before I really begin, let us take a moment to celebrate the birth anniversary of one of the greatest literary figures in history, Sir William Shakespeare. Today, we also commemorate Global English Language Day, honoring the language that unites millions across the globe and gives voices to timeless works of Shakespeare's. I present before you one of the most compelling speeches in Shakespearean drama, Mark Antony's funeral oration from Julius Caesar. This speech, delivered to the Roman citizens, is not just a eulogy, but a masterstroke of rhetoric and persuasion. Antony subtly turns the public opinion against the conspirators, especially Brutus, without directly defying them. Before we dive into the speech, let me set the stage. Julius Caesar, a great Roman general and statesman, has just been assassinated by a group of senators, including his close friend Brutus. They believed that Caesar's ambition threatened the Republic. In the aftermath, Mark Antony is allowed to address the crowd at Caesar's funeral under the condition that he must not blame the conspirators. With this constraint, Antony delivers a cleverly crafted speech that stirs the emotions of the citizens and subtly ignites a rebellion against the killers. Here's the recitation with tone and emotions. Act 3, Scene 2. Friends, Roman countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus had told you Caesar was ambitious. If it was so, it was a grievous fault. And grievously had Caesar answered it. Here, under the leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men? Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept, ambitions should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus says he was an ambitious man. You all did see that on the Lupercal, I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambitious? I speak not to disapprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it comes back to me. In a nutshell, in just a few masterfully chosen words, Mark Antony wins the hearts of the people. He exposes the irony and contradiction in the actions of the conspirators without ever directly accusing them. His speech is the testament to the power of rhetoric, emotion, and the fine art of persuasion, a timeless lesson from the bard himself. That's all on my part. Thank you so much for lending me your precious ears and time.
Right. Nimisha, thank you for your performance, and thank you for adding a dramatic touch to it. We enjoyed the performance. With that, I'd like to call upon our next participant, and we are circling back to the MIT ADT University. Do we have Vaibhavi Jadeja with us?
Yes, yes.
Right. Vaibhavi Jadeja, as I just mentioned, she is a student at the MIT ADT University. And Vaibhavi, the mic is all yours.
All right, before beginning, I would like to. Oh, okay. Shreya Ghode is my roommate, so we are just adjusting the mic and all. Okay, so I'm also from Rajkot, Gujarat. So, and before beginning, yeah, I would like to say how I ended up here. At 2 o'clock at night, I was like, oh, I have to sign up for this recitation competition. So here I am, and I'm going to be very raw, and sorry for that. So I'll just begin. Okay, before that, I'll be reciting Prospero's epilogue. So here I go. Now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Now it is true, I must be here confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not. Since I have my dukedom got and pardoned the deceiver, dwell in this bare island by your spell. But release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails. Which was to please, now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair. Unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults, as you from crimes would pardoned be. Let your indulgence set me free. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vaibhavi. I, for one, got the live performance of that, and she said we are roommates. I cannot be happier to see my roommate, my classmate Sanjana, my junior Arshia, and fellow members of the literary club here at this event. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vaibhavi. Next, I would like to call upon Varda Raju Yagnik.
Yes. Hi. Hello.
Hello, Varda. Welcome. So, Varda is a PG student from Indira Gandhi National Open University in Rajkot, Gujarat. Over to you, Varda.
Hi. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Varda Yagnik. I am a student of psychology, but a lover of literature. So, before I recite William Shakespeare's Sonnet 37, allow me to set the scene. William Shakespeare, the timeless voice of love and loss, was a poet who wrote not just with ink, but with the breath of human soul. A weaver of immortal verse, he etched the soul's deepest longings into sonnets that still echo through the corridors of time. In this particular piece, he gazes not upon himself, but upon another, young, radiant, and a full of promise one. Though worn by age and weary limbs, the speaker's heart soars, lifted by the love that asks for nothing and delights in the mere existence of the muse. Like an old tree admiring the sunlight that dances on its youngest leaf, he finds beauty not in possession, but in quiet admiration. Sonnet 37 is a gentle celebration of love that transcends pride, a humble joy found in the fortune of grace of another. As a decrepit father takes delight to see his active child do deeds of youth, so I, made lame by fortune's dearest spite, take all my comfort in thy worth and truth. For whether beauty, birth, or wealth, or wit, or any of these all, or all or more, entitled in thy paths to crown sit, I make my love engrafted to the store. So then, I'm not lame, poor, nor despised, whilst this shadow doth such substance give, that I in thy abundance am sufficed, and by a part of all thy glory live. Look what is best, the best I wish in thee. This wish I have, then 10 times happy me. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Varda, not only for the recitation, but also for beautifully setting up the context before rendering the recitation to us. Next, I'd like to call upon Bhumika Meghani from the KSN Kansagra Mahila College in Rajkot, Gujarat. Do we have Bhumika with us?
Yes, here.
Right. Over to you, Bhumika.
Thank you. Cheerful evening to one and all present over here. Let me begin with Shakespeare's very well known quote: all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. I, Bhumika Meghani, here to present as an perfect actor on the stage sonnet number 23, written by a legend, very well known writer, poet, dramatist, William Shakespeare. So let me have a context of this novel. This sonnet number 23 is the part of first 126 sonnets, which is known as Fair Youth sequence, and these are addressed to a young man, possibly the Earl of Southampton or of William Herbert. The poet expresses deep affection, admiration, and sometimes insecurity or jealousy. Shakespeare in this sonnet says his love is so strong that he can't express it out loud. So he asked his beloved to read his written words instead, where his true feelings are shown, even here with eyes. So let us begin. As an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his heart, or some fierce thing replayed with too much rage, whose strength abundance weakens his own art. So I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, or charged with burden of mind one love's might. Oh, let my books be then the eloquence and dumb procedures of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense. More than that tongue that more hath more expressed. Oh, learn to read what silent love hath read, to hear with eyes belong to love's fine reed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Our love for Shakespeare is loud and expressive enough given all of us are here today. So thank you so much. Do we have Pratik Srivastav?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, welcome Pratik. So Pratik Srivastav is a UG student from Lakshmi Chand Institute of Technology, Bilaspur, Chandigarh. So welcome Pratik, over to you.
It's Chhattisgarh actually. I'm from Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh, not Chandigarh. Okay, so first of all, I pay my deepest regards to my reverend professors and fellow friends present here. So today we are all gathered here for our majestic activity that is an evening with Shakespeare, and I have got a platinum chance to participate. I assured everyone that I will perform my level best. So let me begin with my topic that is Hamlet Act 1 Scene 2. So here enters Claudius, the king of Denmark, Gertrude, the queen, the council as Polonius and his son Laertes, Hamlet with others among them Wolfgang and Cornelius. Let's begin with the king. King, do yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and let it us befitted, to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom, to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wiser sorrow think on it. Together we remembrance ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as it were, with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping hour, with mirth and funeral, and with dearth and marriage, an equal vein, delight and dole, taken to wife, nor have we herein bare your better wisdoms which have fully gone. With this affair along, for all our thanks, now follows that you know young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our birth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death, our state to be disjoined, and out of frame. Colleagued with this dream of his advantage, he had not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father with all bonds of law to our most valiant brother. So much of so much for him, now for ourselves and for this time of meeting. Thus much the business is. We have here read to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who, important and bedridden, scarcely hears of his nephew's purpose to suppress his further gait herein, and that the levis, the lists, and full proportions are made and out of his subject. And we hear dispatch, you good Cornelius, and you watchmen, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway, giving to you no further personal power to business with the king more than the scope of this dilated articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty. Cornelius, in that and all things will we show our duty. King, without nothing hurriedly farewell. And now Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some feud. What's it? Laertes, you cannot speak of the reason to the Dane and lose your voice. What wouldst thou beg? Laertes, this shall not be my offer, not be asking. The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to the father. What wouldst have latest? Latest, my dread lord, your leave and favour to return to France, from whence though willingly I came to Denmark, to show my duty in your coronation, yet now I must confess that duty done. My thoughts and wishes bend again toward France, and bow them to your gracious and lieve father. That's all from my part. Thank you very much for listening me carefully.
Yes, Pratik, thank you for being here and lending your voice to the words. Next, I'd like to call upon a UG student from the Anand Arts College, located in Anand. Pratik, you have raised your hand. Do you want to say something? All
Sorry,
right.
it was my mistake.
No issue. So we have Malik Sufyan Zakir Hussain with us, who hails from Anand Arts College, Anand, Gujarat. Um, do we have the participant with us?
Yes.
Right. Over to you.
Good evening to all. Today I present to you one of William Shakespeare's most heartfelt sonnets, Sonnet 29, a powerful journey from despair to joy, from isolation to love. When in disgrace, with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone may weep my outcast state, and trouble deep heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more which in hope, future like him with friends possessed. Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, quite dark at break of day arising, from sullen earth sing hymns at heaven's gate, for thy sweet love remember such wealth brings, that then I want to change my state with kings. Through this sonnet, Shakespeare reminds us that love, simple and true, has the power to lift us from our darkest moments. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Uh, that is the end of the registered participants we had. But then in our in call messages, uh, Shreyasi Paul, are you here? Shreyasi Paul. Okay. I I guess that is all for the participants today. Thank you, dear participants. Shakespeare's words are certainly impactful, and
Yeah.
your performance has definitely added to it.
I think some lady
Now, we
from
would like
Sikkim
to
wanted to
invite
speak.
Dr. Bandana Ghosh, a senior member of the Literary
Shreya,
Club
just a
and a
minute.
wonderful reciter,
One minute.
to say a few words
Some lady
and
from
then recite her selected piece from Shakespeare.
Sikkim wanted to join us. She mentioned the name also.
Am
Hello.
I audible? Oh, sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, somebody from Sikkim wanted to join us, and she mentioned a name.
It was somebody called Shreyasi, and I believe she's not there in the meeting.
Okay.
And before that, there was Dr. Bhavisha Vyas, who had mentioned in the chat box that she had wanted to recite.
But she's here.
I believe she's here. Bhavisha, are you here?
Yes.
So shall we
Before we go on to Bandana ma'am, shall we make you wait for another 5 seconds?
Yeah, I'm
If that's
here.
okay?
And wonderful recitation. I'm enjoying it.
Thank you so much. And I think Shreyasi also has replied in the chat box that she's here and she needs a few more minutes. So by then, I think we can request Dr. Bhavisha Vyas. Dr. Bhavisha Vyas is also a former alumnus of the Department of English, Saurashtra University. My former colleague at Christ College, Rajkot, and a worthy senior. She has judged several recitation competitions. She just completed her PhD. She defended her Viva a few weeks back. She's working as an English teacher at one of the reputed schools in Rajkot. Bhavisha madam, we invite you for your recitation and then we move on to our senior veterans.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Pastor. It is indeed an honor to be introduced by somebody as illustrious as you in the company and presence of Sinha sir, Ghosh madam, and several others. Pranam and good evening. So the piece that I'm going to recite today is the famous speech by Mark Antony, which is delivered upon the assassination of Julius Caesar. That's one of the most common speeches which the students make and we've often heard. I, in fact, just today came across a new word called bardolatry, and since we call Shakespeare as the Bard of Avon, I thought this particular piece of speech to be delivered would require no introduction because it is made so famous and popular due to its oft-quoted nature. So let me simply put it up forth in front of everybody. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus had told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously had Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he's ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal, I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious. And sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to disapprove of Brutus,
But when I'm to speak what I do know, you all did love him once, not without. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me, my heart is in the coffin, there with Caesar, and I must pause till it back to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhavisha madam. Yes, Ayush.
Thank you, Bhavisha ma'am. Having been a student to her, I would proudly say that I've had a chance to study under someone who is a wonderfully eloquent public speaker, performer, and obviously a great teacher. So it was good to listen to you after long, ma'am. Moving
Thank you.
on to our next participant, Shreyasi is here. She is a UG student, a PG student at the Sikkim Manipal University. Shreyasi, are you here? I think she is having consistent network issues.
Yes, Ayush, I'm here. I'm so
Right,
sorry for
right,
the
Shreyasi.
inconvenience.
Not an issue. Over to you, Shreyasi.
Yes, hello and good evening to all of you who are present here, all of the senior members and the students, the UG and PG students, and everyone in here who are interested and are so passionate about Shakespeare, the Bard of Avon, after all. So, on the eve of his birthday, I'm going to present one of this really, really funny and kind of, something that really highlights Graciano's, this habit of focusing on everything outward, that is, outward appearances. He always, looks for things that are very much on a surface level than on the deeper aspects of things. So this is Graciano's monologue from Act 1, Scene 1 of the play Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare. And here I present it unto you. Let me play the fool. With mirth and laughter, let old wrinkles come. And let my liver rather heat with wine than my heart cool with mortifying groans. Why should a man, whose blood is warm within, sit like his grandsire cut in alabaster, sleep when he wakes, and creep into jaundice by being peevish? I tell thee what, Antonio, I love thee, and it is my love that speaks. There are a sort of men whose visages do cream and mantle like a standing pond, and do a wilful stillness entertain with purpose to be dressed in an opinion of wisdom, gravity, and profound conceit, as who should say, I'm Sir Oracle, and when I ope my lips, let no dog bark. Oh, my Antonio, I do know of these, that therefore only are reputed wise. For saying nothing, when I'm very sure, if they should speak, would almost damn those ears, which hearing them would call their brothers fool. I'll tell thee more of this another time, but fish not with this melancholy bait, for this fool gurgeon this opinion. Come, good Lorenzo, farewell a while. I will end my exhortation after dinner. Thank you.
Yes, Shreyasi, thank you for the rather funny portrayal. Graciano, as from what I recall, his tendencies of speaking too much, they are described as finding a needle in a haystack. So Graciano does not feature much when it comes to Shakespeare's recitation events. So thank you for taking that up, and thank you for being here. Right, so that is it from our participants, from faculty members, research scholars, UG, PG students. Next up, I'd like to I'd like to call upon Bandana ma'am
who will recite and guide the session forward.
Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Can you hear me? I must compliment all the reciters, how well they have recited and understood the gist of the play, the conversation. I'm absolutely blown away by the way today's session is going on. And last time, I remember that there are much more enthusiasm this time and last time also. So this is gonna, progress like with years. That's what I feel. I'm very hopeful. Today has been a very rewarding evening. And one thing today, it goes in my favor. Like I was going to give examples of certain Shakespeare passages without reading them because I can't read them all, and all of them were read out today, like Shylock's Page and and Seven Ages of Man, like certain things that I'm gonna refer to. Or you have already read them and you already recited them. So it makes things so much easier for me. To begin in the beginning, I've chosen to read from a sonnet as a part of my quest, a search into the poet's persona, which isn't known much from all of his 37 plays. Like a true dramatic genius, he stands out of himself in his plays and never takes sides. His world is densely populated, he's astonishingly wide, and people from all walks of life. He deftly juxtaposes different social classes, and one can say with impunity that here is God's plenty. The creator of the most compelling characters such as Lear, Hamlet, Macbeth, Shylock, Portia, Rosalind, Falstaff, that enlarge our imagination. Just presents multiple perspectives, ideologies with multifaceted portrayal of society without any moral judgment ever. And of course, I was telling you, without taking sides, with no clear-cut allegiances or overtly endorsing a particular viewpoint. In Merchant of Venice, the broader themes of justice and mercy are presented in a complex light. Portrayal of Shylock defies the simplistic categorization as either a villain or a victim. Shylock's "if you prick us, do we not bleed?" comes echoing through the centuries, resonating, makes the audience aware of his predicament, of how he's been mistreated, facing constant discrimination and prejudice, making the character more nuanced. The Jacques, not Jacques, that's the French pronunciation when Shakespeare takes a character, it's Jacques, and always anybody who comes from France are portrayed to be malcontent, and that's the way. That in Jacques' Seven Ages of Man, childhood has no toys, youth has no exuberance or enthusiasm, old age is sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. There is nothing about a sense of fulfillment in old age or rewards of a life lived. This bleak view of the human condition is not Shakespeare's perspective. Don't mistake it ever. But Jacques, the misanthrope, the pessimist. It is his worldview. And you read Mark Antony's speech just now, the assassination of Caesar by Brutus and other senators who fear his rise to tyranny. The play is famously ambiguous about whether the murder was justified. Brutus, the noble idealist, is torn between personal loyalty to Caesar and his duty to Rome. He joins the conspiracy, not out of malice, but because Caesar's ambition threatens the Republic. Antony's famous funeral oration turns the tide against the conspirators. His speech is a masterclass. We've just heard it in persuasion, stirring the crowd against Brutus while claiming not to, always. If you just go through it. In Antony, a loyal friend, is Antony a loyal friend or a political manipulator? No clear answer. That is your Shakespeare. Shakespeare's neutrality is amazing. Doesn't vilify or glorify either side. The conspirators fail, but they are not depicted as villains, especially Brutus, who gets a respectful epitaph from Antony. This was the noblest Roman of them all, to quote. And just a touch, just to take the history plays, Henry IV, Part 1, and we know how Prince Hal becomes Henry V. Shakespeare presents two conflicting models of leadership and honor through the characters. Prince Hal, who becomes Henry V, navigating between the world of the tavern with Falstaff and the court of his royal duties. Hotspur, the fiery, impulsive nobleman who represents a very different, more traditional idea of honor. Shakespeare doesn't clearly endorse one over the other. Hal is both reckless and strategic, while Hotspur is both admirable but too rigid, possibly. Falstaff too offers a compelling critique of honor itself. Shakespeare doesn't impose moral judgment. He presents the characters, their flaws, their ideals, and their consequences, and lets the audience judge. Of course, in the end, there is final rejection of Falstaff by Prince Hal, who becomes Henry V, but that may be not against Falstaff, but maybe the price you pay for kingship, that friendship, finally. And Wordsworth, in his sonnet about a sonnet, says, in his sonnet, Shakespeare unlocked his heart. And so I thought I'd talk about the sonnets and not the neutral plays, And looking at them, they were published in Shakespeare's own lifetime, 1609. Thorpe, the publisher, selected them and he published them. And Shakespeare's first complete works, first folio, first came out by two very warm friends, Hemming and Condell, and in 1623, where Ben Jonson writes a tribute, which is so true even to this day. He says, "Thou wast not of an age, but for all times." The same Ben Jonson who mocked him, thinking of his little Latin and less Greek, to quote Ben Jonson. And it seems so unfair that someone that articulate, like England found her voice in Shakespeare, the language found articulation and power. It seems absolutely unfair that such an accomplished writer did not leave us a little more, something like an autobiography. What stopped him? But the few records and so much so that there have been cheeky speculations that Shakespeare was not there, Shakespeare was Marlowe. No, of course not. Shakespeare was Shakespeare and Marlowe was Marlowe. They may have collaborated in the screenplay sometime or the other. Shakespeare was very much there. And the few records from Shakespeare's lifetime that have survived in the Holy Trinity Church records, court paperwork, in many surviving legal records, commercial contracts, tax returns, even his marriage record are all authentic. Marriage, of course, and he was went to the grammar school and didn't go to the university because he ran away, married at the age of 18 all this is known to everybody, but I'm just telling you to put a kind of a perspective to my complaint about Shakespeare, that he didn't write anything about himself with such a colorful life and such a powerful pen. So 8 years older Anne Hathaway, and he was 18. Their daughter Susanna was born within 6 months after their wedding. And after that, a twin 3 years later, Judith and Hamnet. And there's record of Hamnet's death in bubonic plague in Holy Trinity Church. Though they are now property of Shakespeare's Birthplace Trust, it's all preserved there. If you go now, you'll see a little yellowed with exposure. And even their corners with brass, they're all there. Very authentic. They're not cooked up. They can't be cooked up. And there are anecdotes about his reckless, fun-loving deer poaching. And one thing which is very certain that Shakespeare was there, the jealous tirade of his contemporary university wits who studied in the university but could not write a play like his, that couldn't have been against a non-existent person. You know, they cannot cook up a person to be so jealous and so angry. Green's publication, Groatsworth of Wit in 1592, attacked Shakespeare as an upstart crow, beautified with our feathers, tiger's heart, this is within quotes, wrapped in a player's hide. This is held to be the first reference, by the way, though indirect, to Shakespeare, the playwright, because it talks about a play where Shakespeare says tiger's heart, player's hide. Possibly he had to flee Stratford because there are no records for about 8 years after the birth of the twins, after which his name started appearing in London Playhouse Circle. And he became famous, made money, brought shares in Chamberlain's Men, which later became King's Men, and they were all shareholders of the company. And after 7 years, his death, 7 years is not a very long time, Hemming and Condell cannot also cook up a non-existent figure and put all his plays together. So all this buncombe, because why I said this and dwelled so much on this, because so many of my students, English major in college, asked me that, ma'am, Shakespeare was not there. People say, was he there? I said, of course, he was very much there, but very little is known. The 154 sonnets, I told you, published in his lifetime, Thomas Thorpe, and the quarto volume, first folio is his works, his folio volume, it was a quarto, included a dedication to Mr. W.H., whose identity remains a subject of scholarly debate. Could be Henry Wriothesley, the third Earl of Southampton, or William Herbert, the third Earl of Pembroke, both known as patrons of Shakespeare. The sonnets offer a rare, intimate glimpse into the emotional turmoil and intellectual life of the poet. While we must tread carefully and not to assume too hastily they're strictly autobiographical, they may not be, but they do shed light on several aspects of Shakespeare as a man and artist. Let's not be too hasty and think it is his autobiography, but he opens a little bit of his heart in this sonnet. The sonnets reveal a deep emotional range: love, desire, jealousy, guilt, frustration, and even existential despair because the relationship between that W.H. and Shakespeare is not thought to be always platonic. There are speculations it could have been romantic also. So is this a reason why he is coaxing his lover to procreate and to live on? Possibly, we don't really know. These emotions are these emotions are always neat or noble. They're raw, they're conflicted, hinting at a man capable of intense attachment and equally intense self-doubt. two main figures emerge talking about his relationships. Actually, it talks about his relationships in the sonnet. The fair youth from number 1 to 126, a beautiful young man to whom Shakespeare expresses admiration, love, and at times heartbreak. Their relationship has been widely debated, I told you, as romantic, and that relationship matters to him deeply. The Dark Lady, 127 to 154, a mysterious dark woman, depicted in earthy, often sexual, and not always flattering terms, quite unflattering words. This relationship appears stormy, lustful, and morally fraught, because we know that Shakespeare was not a very faithful husband. He had been, and there have been anecdotes quite a lot today. There won't be time, but plenty of anecdotes on Shakespeare's exploits and adventures. These figures suggest that Shakespeare was not immune to complex, perhaps not just complex, but socially transgressive relationships. And they're reflective, deeply meditative. And after all that dilemma, Shakespeare views that art can get immortality. How would you get immortality through art? How would you stop age from grabbing you? Art this deep insecurity about mortality is there, and finally he finds a solution that art triumphs over all and gives you immortality. Many sonnets dwell on aging, the passage of time, the decay of beauty, especially early ones, I was telling you, urging the young man to procreate. And his personal anxieties beneath his public persona. And there is moral questions. The sonnet grapples with moral questions: betrayal, infidelity, pride, time, truth. They show a mind that is constantly analyzing, not just emotions, but the ethics and implication of those emotions. So while the sonnets don't provide a clear biography, they do suggest that Shakespeare was deeply passionate, yet reflective, unafraid to explore taboo or uncomfortable emotions, concerned with his own place in time and in posterity. A poet who, even at the height of his success, remained intimately human. The controlled build of metaphors. By the way, I have not told you the sonnets that I'm going to read. You can Google and get them. I'm going to read sonnet 65 and sonnet 60, but not in order. I'm going to read 65 first and then 60. And I have chosen these two. The reason is to just showcase Shakespeare's art of using metaphors. Sonnet 65. You've got it in front of you, or have it by heart, I don't know. This is a very knowledgeable gathering today. Still, in front of you will help when we read. Since brass, nor stone, nor earth, nor boundless sea, but sad mortality oversways their power. How with this rage shall beauty hold a plea, whose action is no stronger than a flower? Oh, how shall summer's honey breath hold out against the wrackful siege of battering days, when rocks impregnable are not so stout, no gates of steel so strong, but time decays? Oh, fearful meditation, Where alack shall time's best jewel from time's chest lie hid? Or what strong hands can hold his swift foot back? Or who his spoil of beauty can forbid? Oh, none, unless this miracle have might, that in black ink my love may still shine bright. Iambic pentameter and 3 quatrains and 1 couplet, A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G, Shakespearean sonnet. And one sec, got a few. It is sonnet full of passion and also despair. Imagery in the first quatrain, the metaphor of brass, stone, the most lasting. The contrast accentuates the frailty of the flower. And how in this rage, look at the rage, shall beauty hold a plea its legal language? Shakespeare was in the know of a lot of legal language and uses them. And second quatrain is not brass and stone and monuments, but the formidable fortress. It's a war metaphor in the second quatrain. The changes and its fortress, wrackful siege of battering days, and time's best jewel. How can he hide his beloved? What is time's best jewel? Possibly his beloved, because I am guessing, because similar idea is there in Sonnet 52. Time decays everything, and time's best jewel seems to be his beloved. And speaker talks about hiding his friend in a chest. What strong hands, and time's chest is one of the spoils of war. Later on, what strong hands. Notice the construction. Similar adjectives, strong and swift, but opposite nouns, hand and foot. And spoil of war is war booty. The winner takes away, all the vanquished possessions. So who is spoil of beauty? The wrackful siege and the rage, and their spoil is beauty, time, which is like a fortress, raging war. Contrasting images in the final line makes for a kind of a paradox. Black ink could shine bright. My black ink, my love, may still shine bright. And he was very fond of riddles and quibbles, and even time's best jewel from time's chest lie hid is a kind of riddling you into thinking. He doesn't let you just quietly read and push up. Power of pen, lasting value of literary works. A classical idea that poetry grants immortality to the poem. Time decays everything. And the last couplet definitely says poetry transcends mortality. What is so bothered about? Will there be time for another sonnet? I don't know. I have spoken a long time. I don't know. I think I've spoken too long, but I have prepared. I wanted to read.
Ma'am, you can take another 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 60 is, like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore. Iambic. So how would you read? Like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore? Or I would like to read it as like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore. Long vowels. And like as the wave, you begin with a trochee. And that when you begin with a trochee and the rest is an iamb, it gives a different kind of a lilt and different kind to the line. So do our minutes hasten to their end. Starts with a simile. And the waves make towards the pebbled shore. After the long vowels, suddenly there are monosyllables. pebbled shore, so do our minutes. So you can put in a lot many words in that decasyllabic line. Hasten to their ends. Almost, one tumbling after the other towards the pebbled shore, the minutes going. In life, it's talking about time, like waves go towards the pebbled shore, minutes also hasten, and with the combination of long and short vowels, almost it's enacted the passage of time. Each changing place with that which goes before, in sequent toil, all forwards do content. And the next quatrain, first is seashore and the waves. Next is nativity. It's in the main of light, it's world. Birth and the light crawls to maturity. You grow, here with being crowned, possibly it's gray hair, crowned in the midlife, crooked eclipses against his glory fight. And not just the light, but there are crooked eclipses that fight against his glory. And time that gave, doth now his gift confound. Time that gave you so much, now takes away, confound his gift. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the parallels in beauty's brow. The wrinkles, delves the parallels in beauty's brow, feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands but for his sight to mow. And yet, to times in hope, my verse shall stand, praising thy worth despite his cruel hand. The solemn pacing of meter, perfect iambic, I told you, begins with a trochee. Similar lines are there in Sonnet 12, in which he says, nothing against time's sight can make defense. But the only way to live on is to procreate, have children, he says. There's actually another way to live. Though nothing stands for time, mows down everything, but this verse will stand despite time's cruel hand, and poetry would grant finally immortality to the subject. Thank you for your time. Maybe I took a little longer, but I wanted to.
Thank you, Bandana ma'am. It was a pleasure listening to you. Now, next up, before moving on to Sinha sir, I'd like to call upon Parth sir, as he has something to share. Yes, Parth sir.
Thank you so much. I'm aware that we have the clock has struck 7 and we have to conclude. And of course, everybody is looking for Sinha sir's comment. I'm just here to state 2 or 3 things. Number one, Vandana madam's recitation was complete surprise. We thought she's just going to recite, but then she, she combined both research and recitation. For those of you who do not know, Dr. Bandana Ghosh is the former head of the department of the Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, Pune. She was one of the founders of the Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts, and she got her British Council scholarship for her doctoral study in UK. So it was indeed pleasure listening to you, ma'am, and we look forward to further opportunities of listening to you. Number two, basically I'm here for announcing, making a formal announcement of our 50th session, that is the Golden Jubilee session of the Literary Club. I think our regular members know that we have already completed 49 sessions of the Literary Club, and our next session will be the 50th formal session. on the occasion of which we have organized a 2 days national webinar, which will be open for all undergraduate, postgraduate students, research scholars, and faculty members. The webinar, of course, the detailed outline and other things will be out very soon, but since participants from various colleges, universities, institutions are here, we thought this is a good occasion to make a formal announcement of the webinar. Please stay connected with us. Maybe in a week or so, you will be receiving the details of the webinar. You can register for the same. We are going to have a pool of scholarly speakers from across the states for the webinar. I think Dr. Suresh Gupta is eagerly awaiting the results. Sir, as we announced in the beginning, this time it is not a competition. We just have the recitations. We were here to enjoy the recitations. It's not a competition this time. So there will be no results, but of course there will be Professor Sinha's remarks at the end and his observations. Before I end my talk, we have been rejoicing Shakespeare, but I'm sure all of us have had a look at the media reports of Pahalgaon today. We cannot complete this meeting without paying our homage to those who were subject to sheer cruelty in Pahalgaon. From Merchant of Venice, Act 1, Scene 3, I have 6 lines spoken by Antonio, when they are in the market with, arguing with Shylock. So I'll complete my speech with those lines from Antonio. Act 1, Scene 3, he says, "Mark you this, Bassanio, the devil can cite scripture for his purpose. An evil soul producing holy witness is like a villain with a smiling cheek, a goodly apple rotten at the heart. Oh, what a goodly outside falsehood hath." Thank you so much. Let me now invite and request quickly Professor Sinha for his observations, his remarks, for the recitations, and of course, in general, about the participation of the students. And sir, of course, a note from you about the participation in the webinar. Thank you very much. Sir, you are mute.
Thank you all. I had a tough time. I will have a tough time because all those who preceded me were so good, so excellent, that whatever I say will be like an anticlimax. And in a sense, almost everything has been covered. But more than anything else, the session showed that Shakespeare belonged not to England, but to all countries and all ages. Edward Said had once said that Beethoven doesn't belong to Germany, Beethoven belongs to mankind. Shakespeare similarly belongs to mankind, and no matter what happens, Shakespeare's magic never dims. Theories have come and theories have gone, without, of course, talking of Michelangelo, but no theory has been able to displace Shakespeare. Theories have actually misappropriated, or shall I say misappropriated Shakespeare, but they all have placed Shakespeare at the center of the analysis, their views. Let me now quickly talk a little about what transpired. First of all, I was so impressed by the anchor, and the introduction to the session was excellent. And obviously, proceeding from there, I had to come to the very well informed talk by Dr. Bandana Ghosh. She has proved herself to be a worthy student of the great Presidency College teachers that she had. Now, let me comment briefly on the performance. I would like to say that some speakers were good, but some were excellent. And that is the core of what happened. As they would say, there is no doubt that our future is bright. Without any special aid from the government or from the industry, English literature, or I should say literature, literary studies are flourishing and they will continue to flourish. So there is no reason for despair. We only have to think about hope. To comment a little on what we took up and what we did not take up, there was a lot of emphasis on Shakespeare the poet, or as they would say, the poet in the theatre, beside the title of a famous book, because a number of sonnets were discovered, and as we could say, there have been 3 or 4 major trends in approaches to Shakespeare. One, of course, is that he is a great psychologist. A.C. Bradley talked about Shakespeare's characters. He set a trend, and Sigmund Freud took it up. Dr. Ernest Jones wrote a masterly analysis, one with which I'll disagree on the whole, but a very, very thorough analysis of Hamlet. Then we observed that Shakespearean performance is something important. As they say, Shakespeare never gives us his full flavor until we see him in performance. And Shakespearean reading is never the same as Shakespearean performance. And of course, Shakespeare as a poet, his language, his metaphors. I remember a long time back, I read an old-fashioned introduction to Shakespeare, a bit of a prudish study, and the person was justifying Shakespeare's impregnation of Anne Hathaway before they got married. And the person said, indeed, which woman would say no when the Bard of Avon wooed her? Dr. Bandana Ghosh fully agreed with the introduction. And most young people agreed with that. It's interesting that today we did not discuss the history plays. Shakespeare, let's not forget, was a masterly chronicler of English history from at least the time King Henry IV, Bolingbroke, took over till the time of the end of the Wars of Roses at the Bosworth Field. It's also interesting that we did not take up the sparkling comedies. Let's not forget what Dr. Johnson said. He felt that Shakespeare had greater heroines than heroes, and the heroines come into their own in the comedies. This is a problem that has often bugged me. Shakespeare did not have great women characters in his tragedies. And those who try to justify the view that Shakespeare could shine only with boys acting female characters don't cut any ice with me. I'm convinced that Shakespeare could have been even greater, even more varied, if he had great actresses at his command. Later Shakespeare was always performed superbly and brilliantly by great actresses, not by boys acting the female roles. Let's not think about some squeaking Cleopatra, boy, her greatness. Remember what Johann Kott said? That Shakespeare is our contemporary, and he remains our contemporary. I had a very short session, partly because Dr. Bandana Ghosh, with a brilliant performance, stole my thunder. Now, I don't really have much to say, but I enjoyed the session, and I hope all of you join the literary club and keep on coming to us. We also have extended our area. We began as a club based in Eltis Symbiosis, Pune. Then we reached out when the COVID began to Rajkot, and Rajkot took over. Now we have many more members from Saurashtra University than from Pune, and I'm glad now we have reached out to states beyond Maharashtra and Gujarat. Well, all the best, and I hope some of you join us for the Golden Jubilee session. My words are far from golden, but I'll meet you all at the Golden Jubilee session. Thank you, Parth. Thank you, anchors, who were brilliant, and thank you, Bandana, and all the participants.
Thank you very much, sir. As we bring the session to a close, I would request the anchors to propose a vote of thanks formally.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you so much, Prashant sir. I would like to extend our gratitude to Professor Sinha for constantly guiding us, Dr. Bandana Ghosh, our faculty members, research scholars, and students who joined us from at least 8 different states all over India, making today's recitation event eclectic and diverse. We thank all the members of the literary club, the committee, and the attendees for making this event fruitful. Also, this event has been live on YouTube all this while, so the recordings and performances have been recorded. As Parth sir mentioned, we have a 50th event, a special session coming up, and that is something we should definitely look forward to. And stay tuned and join us in our upcoming events. Thank you so much.
May I quickly intervene? I was wondering if we could all switch our cameras on so that we can have a screenshot. All the participants who can, we request you to switch your cameras on so that we can have a screenshot. Everyone, thank you once again.
Okay.
All right. Are we done, Rutvi, with the screenshot?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
So the link to our YouTube channel has been given. And as soon as the recording, we have the link of the recording, we shall mail it to all the registered participants and all those who have filled up the feedback form. Thank you very much for joining. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Today I enjoyed myself, with all the participants.
Thank you, Bandana ma'am. Thank you, Sulabha ma'am. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.